All right, honey, 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 honey. I ain't gonna hold you, honey. I ain't gonna hold you. That's what we're not gonna do over here. It's day 63. It's day 63. I was about to say, let me see that bronzy titty. What are you doing? What are you doing? Honestly, because you're doing something so freaking hard, you gotta find humor in just absolutely anything. Absolutely anything. Woo! It is almost 11 o'clock. I just got in and we're just gonna hop, we're just gonna hop in. Get your UV glasses on, get your coconut water. If you're going to get coconut water, this is the only one. There is no other. There is no other, sweetheart. Excuse me. I gotta finish this. This is the equivalent of taking, I've never had a cigarette, but for some reason, this gesture, it calms me. Not that gesture, this gesture. You see, I'm losing it. And I probably lost a couple people on the intro. Good thing there's nobody really here but me and my ancestors, myself, and my friend Nia. Hi, Nia. I had a conversation with her today, and man, I'm telling you, when you have at least just sometimes all you just need is one person in your corner. As it's getting late, we don't know where the accents are going to go, by the way. Sometimes you just need one person in your corner just to reflect with, just somebody that you can feel safe with. I'm grateful enough. I have no communication with my family. It's been years. But for some reason, Naya shows up exactly when I need her. I have a couple of other people that show up exactly when I need them. But right now, in this season, in this process, in this experiment, Nia is my go-to right now. Should I start blanking people's names out? I don't know. It's only Nia watching. And that's wonderful, you know? We're getting past and beyond the fear of being seen. Sometimes that's ancestral. Sometimes that's, we hear about all these wounds, these witch wounds, these betrayal wounds, all these types of, all this programming that's just plagued on us to suppress us, to stop us, to slow us down. Girl, when you start venturing onto the other side of yourself, when you start doing things are not that don't come easy to you, when you go on the conquest, it sounds good when you're talking about it, right? It sounds good. Like I can only imagine the disciples when Jesus was like, yo, Peter, we're gonna have to do this. Okay? It's like, dang, I get to roll with the big dog. I get to be front row seat. I get to be front center. I get to change my life. I get to figure out my addictions. I get to change my life. And it all sounds good. You got the momentum of a decision being made. How many people can witness in real time, the process of change? Nobody's just sitting there waiting for the caterpillar to become the butterfly. We just want to see what happened and how you did it. How did you do it? Thankfully, I've had accomplishments that few people have had in this world. Not a lot, but there's a couple where I'm like, yeah, only maybe 20 people have done that, or maybe only 50 people have done it, or maybe only 100 people have done that, from my knowledge. So I know what it feels like to be in the top 1% of something. Even if you think about getting a scholarship for college, you are in the top percentages of people historically who have done this. Sorry, this is a little tangent, but when you're telling God that you are ready to step up, you are ready for change, you are ready to step in your purpose, you're just ready. You're ready. You're willing. Not even that you're ready, because universal forces come together to prepare you to be ready. That's not your job. Let the flow naturally happen. It's going to come. It's going to come. And it's going to be in the areas that you try to hide the most, that core root that you've kept at arm distance. I'm not bursting your bubble, but let me just prime you and tell you the fast is the easiest part. What comes up in results of the fast Are you ready for that? Are you buckled up? Because some things are going to hit you and make you feel like you're about to go through a windshield. But this is what you asked for. But when we are in the midst of making the decision to change our life, to do better, to do differently, we can't even begin to predict what that's going to take to actually mold you into the person you want to be. What circumstances, what opportunities, what situations will come up to give you and train you and strengthen you for what you're asking for. The universe is going to test if you really about that life. Real recognize real. Spiritual law, divine law is the realest. That's why it's been regarded, revered for thousands of years. There's certain laws that cause and effect. It's part of the agenda. You think because you made a progressive choice, you think because you started recycling, you think because you started going to the gym, you think because you made a vow not to judge or spew toxicity or gossip or anything like that, you think because it's a positive change, it's gonna be smooth sailing. Ain't gonna be no rough waters. We gonna sail the Atlantic. I ain't gonna see no sharks, no fish, no shadows. We're not gonna have scarcity. Everything's gonna be provided, which is lovely. Live in that delusional world if you want to. But for some of us, we are gonna get our branches shook until we learn how to depend on our own wings. How hard are you going to hold on to what you know, what you think you know, what the information you've collected over the years to make your informed decisions? How's that going? Are you living in your first choice, where you live, who you're with, your job? Are you living your first choice or your fifth or sixth choice? Are you living what just happened to be available? To go from what you know to what you believe you can have, I can only speak for myself. Maybe people have an easier transition. Maybe they just can shift the gears like that. But girl, I'm trying to find the gear and I'm like, woo, okay, we stuttering a little bit. We holding up traffic. Okay, all right. We just gonna fly. We're just gonna fly. We're just gonna fly. Toot, 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 toot. Partnerships. You know? You see that? Can't see that. I gotta take the focal point out so I can actually start showing diagrams and stuff. I'll figure out how to do it later. Girl, what gets brought to your front step, you cannot predict. How else? How else do you know what you're capable of? How else do you know your capacity? How else do you expand? How else do you show that you're ready? If this was a pop quiz that you already knew about, where's the growth? Where's the growth? Didn't you want growth? Didn't you want to be God's little warrior? Didn't you want to embody the life that was already written for you? Didn't you want to get rid of the distractions and really live out this thing why you came here into existence, why you chose your parents, why you chose to incarnate, why you chose the lessons you came here to correct? You just don't expect things to hit how they hit. Now, I'm going to probably use discernment of what I should check, what I should share, and what I should wait to reveal as it is being created for me. Girl, this wasn't even the topic of the story. Okay, let's get back to day 64. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Day 64. We're going to piggyback on yesterday of how to rewire your relationship with comfort food. What is your drug of choice for comfort? Is it Netflix and chill? Is it having a little boo thing? Is your comfort in food? Is your comfort in relationships? Is your comfort in drugs? Is your comfort in hero? Is it in promiscuity? What is your comfort? Mine happened to be food. Haven't drank in years. Haven't like I never smoked nicotine. Um, I can go abs. Majority of my life has been abstinent. So even though that urge never goes away, I have enough ego to know and pride that that's one benefit of having a strong pride. When you see that something is making you compulsive outside of yourself, when you need to have that text from somebody, when you need to have relations or you need to express your lust and you need to all that, as soon as I'm like, oh, this is a second, just a millimeter over what I'm comfortable with, now I feel like I need this, I can cold turkey it. I'm like, oh no, oh no, I'll quit right then and there. I've gone years without eating fast food. I've gone a year without eating sugar. I've gone years without caffeine. I've gone years without sex. I've gone years without recreational drugs. I've gone years without alcohol. I can turn it off, but food, not food, not food. It's so socially acceptable. I'm in a period of life where for the first time in my life, I'm intentionally dating. And talk about, I'm having a great time. I don't mean to put that dramatic pause, but just talk about accelerating your development. You look like a shaman when you're up on the mountain by yourself, you hermit, you learn, or you're reading all the books, you're learning about the different modalities, however you get information through religion, philosophy, astrology, whatever. I think they're all breadcrumbs put to us in this world for a reason. And I know certain people think it's just one way to learn and only this way. And I'm like, I've just never been that way. I've always been the person that talks to everybody, that's curious about why people do what they do. Why does astrology? Why do I have a curiosity for astrology? Why do I have a curiosity for this religion? Why do I have a curiosity for this philosophy? Why do I have a curiosity for this way of thinking? Because they all help you see perspective. Take what you need and leave the rest. Why is it in our world? Why was it created in our world if it didn't help somebody in the past? Why is the esoteric here? Why is New Age? I don't even understand why they call it New Age. I'm like, this was actually around before religion, organized religion. What are you talking about? I see the Bible as parables, as one of the greatest books in this world. But I know, or at least I have an awareness to know, like, would God say all of this? It just makes me curious. I'm like, so our God, the infinite creator, sat down and whispered this to people or talked about this with so much violence, so much hatred, this is HBO Max. Have you really, really read the Bible? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me unless you've actually read the Bible cover to cover. Okay? Old Testament, New Testament. Oh, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Do not push your agenda on people if you do not embody what you're talking about. I have some fruits of my labor, but I don't have all the fruits of my labor. So I'm not projecting on people. You should study Kabbalah. You should study Christianity. You should study numerology. You should study the Ayurvedic. These are all tools that I can look to for better understanding of concepts that I haven't grasped yet. And maybe I'll pick it up for a day. Maybe I'll pick it up for a couple of years. Maybe I'll pick it up for a lifetime. But you need to follow what resonates with you at the moment. I know there is a higher source, and I'm just getting clear. Have you done a 60-day fast? Have you started seeing miraculous things? Have you started hearing voices? Have you started seeing flashes of light in your peripheral? Have you started feeling wind when there's no windows? Have you started getting synchronicities, intuition? These little psychic little things you're picking up. Your antennas are. Have you actually dedicated yourself to that? Have you traveled? Have you gone to Egypt? Have you really studied the Bible? Have you gotten groups to see how other people are thinking? You need to have an expansive mind and not get so offended when people bring different modalities or way of learnings to you. You don't think this is God consciousness going through all these people with these different ways of learning and understanding the concepts of our world? I've fallen in that too. I've fallen, and I'm like, the number one rule is to not judge. That's how you actually can put yourself so aside to hear what you need to hear. And sometimes it's so automatic to judge, like, oh my God, they wore that. Oh my God, did they just say that? Oh my God, they don't. Shut up. I love you, but shut up. Shut up. You don't know everything. Be quiet and listen. I'm talking to you, Breezy. I'm talking to you. You don't know everything. You don't have to push your agenda. Do you think I'm running around telling people, you need to fast, you need to cleanse, you need to detox, you need to. No, I am the embodiment. That is my only goal, is to be in the embodiment of what I'm talking about, of what I'm living through, showing up every day. Do you know, just showing up every day for the last, I forgot the statistics, but I'm already in the top. Even though my numbers do not reflect it, I'm already in the top 10% of creators by being this consistent. So don't talk to me about things that you heard from a person, or you learned from. How did you get the download? Can you sit with yourself by yourself? Can you be a resource to yourself? Can you still have an open, creative mind when everything is turning on you, when everything is on fire? Can you still lean on your faith instead of your understanding? This is coming from a person who I'm like, I feel like I'm logical. I'm animated, but I feel like I'm pretty logical. I have 3 degrees. I feel like I know a thing or two. I feel like I can grasp a concept. But girl, you don't know everything. And I feel like that's the only way you will be able to get hints from everything around you. Are you open enough? Or do you think it has to come in one specific way? Do you think God's voice is one specific way? Do you think that all the people who have sinned, all the hood rats, all the whores, whatever you deem as people sinning, you don't think that's God? Well, this is not going to resonate with you. Every person you meet, every person you come across is just a portal for understanding. Even that homeless man who was cussing you out for no reason. I'm like, yeah, he needs a parasite cleanse probably. Don't take it personal. It's all good. I forgot the quote that said, like, oh gosh, it was so good. But basically, people with psychiatric just breaks, they're drowning in the sea of knowledge, while shamans and people who have evolved are swimming in the sea of knowledge. They're still in the same pool. But how they grasp the concept and how they show up and interact with their environment is totally two different, totally things. We are one decision away from being in the position that the person you're judging. Where is this coming from? I don't know. But I am being met at my front door with things I have tried to hide, things I have tried to keep to myself, things that have been so painful that not a soul knows on this world. I've gone years without crying. I remember I think it was 9 years old. I remember it was about to be the new year. It was the year 2000, and I was so excited to hang out with my mom. And last minute, she told me she was going out like on a date or something like that. I was so heartbroken. And I made a vow that day. I was like, I don't know even where I got this concept as a 9-year-old. I said, I will never cry again. I will never cry again. And I didn't cry. We know that's like biologically impossible, especially for a woman with all these goddamn hormones. From 9 till 22, I did not cry. There may have been something that leaked out, maybe, that got past the barrier nobody ever saw. Do you know how much repression that puts on your body? Do you know how much stress that puts on your body when you can't express, when you can't release? Do you know what else women have to do to release? If you're clogged in one area, sweetheart, you're clogged in other areas. That's why you can't connect during intimacy. That's why you won't allow yourself to be vulnerable enough. Because that image of your mom walking out once again is burned in your brain, and you promised yourself, you trained your brain to say, we will never feel this again. You don't think that carries over to every single your first instance of a relationship, your first display of affection and nourishment. And you can have siblings that have two different, completely different environments. I have an older sister. From the time she was 0 to 7, my parents were together. They had a house, they had a home. It was wonderful. I came around when she was like 4 or 5. Around that time I came, maybe a year or two after, is when, actually, it was before that. I was an affair baby. Oh, should I have said that? Well, it's out now. I was an affair baby. I figured that out the day before I left for college. What? Oh, I was told that. Give her credit. She told you. These lineages of secrets that just hold us. They hold us down. Do you know neurologically, when you're in vitro with your mother, you feel everything that your mother feels? I can't imagine, as a 25-year-old pregnant, married, what led her to step out. For a woman to step out on her marriage, it gotta be something rough going on. It gotta be something psychological. It gotta be something emotional. This is not what she signed for. And I don't know the whole story. I didn't have follow-up questions. And I haven't talked to my mother in years. I remember one of the last conversations I had with her was, you will never make me feel like this again. Nobody can make you feel like something. It's what you allow. It's what your belief is. This is what I came to correct as a human being, as a spirit in a human being experience. This is how God wanted to live through me, through these exact experiences that happen that will shape me forever. There's certain energies that people hold in vitro. And I mean, don't even talk about the ancestral stuff. You know what Black people had to go through in this country and still go through. Compounded, 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 compounded. Do you know how neurologically that I'm getting developed as a fetus under secrets, under stress, under, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what the baby's going to look like. Thankfully, I look a lot like my mom. And that's the only reason my dad, who I thought was my dad, would keep me around, because I look like my mom. And he has always been in love with her. Sobering, right? Like, wow. The two people I trusted most that were supposed to show me on my first instances of love, of nourishment, both interacted with me in almost selfish manners. Not even selfish. um, they got their own benefit from me. Not not because of who I was, but what I represented. I think my mom saw the man that got her pregnant every time she looked at me. She was always so much harder on me. Family reunions, they were always so weird around me. Always wondered why I didn't look like my sister. I'm like, why don't we look alike? My sister always used to adopt. I was adopted. I didn't belong. Do you know what psychologically that does growing up as you're forming your subconscious? I had to find outlets. Of course, I did sports. Of course, I did extracurricular activities. Of course, I must show I am worth it. Do you know how much that carries over as an adult? Especially if you don't have the awareness, especially if you don't know how to connect the dots and the patterns of why you do what you do. This is what we're here for. And I'm sorry we have to get this real, but I'm not sorry. I'm getting confronted with this right here, right now. Your scarcity, your lack, your selfishness. I remember my mom always used to call me selfish growing up. I'm like, what? Everything I do is to make you proud. How? Okay. Okay. So I'm like, and then I think that's when I really started embracing the Leo thing. I'm like, I guess that's just being a Leo. You get to a point where it's like, wow, I've lived my life to make you proud. My father never bought me a textbook, never helped me with my tuition, never helped me. But oh my gosh, if you looked at his truck, every college I went to, proud dad, proud dad. Oh yeah, pictures. He loved the look of it. I'm like, wow, wow, this is so hypocritical. But do you know where you're being hypocritical? No, because you're blind to it, just like they were. Just like they were. You're blind to it. When your sister was telling you you didn't belong, when your sister bullied you, when your sister was just so harsh to you, she was having her own experience, just like your mom was, just like your dad was. You just happened to be strong enough to carry it. Yet you were still the first person they talked to. You were still the first person to make them laugh. You were still the first person to get a scholarship to go to college. You were still the first person to get an athletic scholarship. And then everybody kind of just, which is so freaking weird reflecting back. I was the first to do a lot of things in my family. I was criticized and then I was copied. Isn't that wild? But if you look at people in history, everybody's kind of gone through that. I'm like, how is your own team against you? Allegedly, my mom still has a connection with my ex-husband. And mind you, he's moved on, has 2 kids, unmarried, but he sent me this lovely letter about how great he's doing. I'm like, why do you even still care what I think? We've been divorced for 5 years. Why do you care what I think? And if my mom knew what you did to me, you think she would be in that connection? You are the link to me. There are certain people that will keep your enemies close so they still have any breathing room of connection to you. This is sobering. This is sobering. This is your own flesh and blood doing this to you. But I'm here to remind you not to take it personal. Not to take it personal, for they do not understand. And there's so much that I don't understand. I'm not in these people's shoes. I'm not governing the decisions. I thank God. I'm like, thank you, God, for shutting my reproductive system down. So I didn't even have an oops baby. I didn't have anything. I was actually convincing myself to have this man's baby, yet my body was inflamed laying next to him. The cystic acne. My uterus was like, F this. Estrogen stopped, progesterone. It was actually too much estrogen. And then it was too much progesterone. And then it was so, I'm like, oh my gosh. Hindsight, oh my gosh. Going through it, absolute hell. Absolute hell. almost to the point where I had to get a hysterectomy. I'm like, oh, my body was like, girl, this is the threat. Your threat is sometimes in your own household. But I was so accustomed to growing up with threats in my household, threats externally. Now, I was raised in South Central LA. We had it was an hour to go to school every single day. We would be waking up at 4:30 every single day. That was torturous. But it seemed like the best decision. My mom, she looks white, hazel eyes. She grew up in Los Angeles too. Her and my aunties used to get in fights all the time. They were fighting grown men because it wasn't diverse. There weren't too many people who looked like them. So they were taking all the guys. They looked exotic. Can you believe out here in Idaho, I'm exotic? Can you believe that? I'll take it, I guess. I'll take it. Is this a rant? Is this a diary? Should I just keep this for myself? I'm saying this because things are coming to your front door that you can't avoid and you can't escape from. And girl, I know how to escape and I know how to avoid. Even in conversation. I know how to change a conversation and answer a question without answering a question. To make you think I'll answer the question. Only few people catch on. They're like, oh, I see what you just did right there. I had a best friend who it took years for her, like, girl, you are a master evader. I'm like, me? No, 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 not me. That's a way to keep people at arm's length. I'm not sorry. This is all coming up because you get to finally deal with things now. You get to finally close the loop. You get to finally heal. You get to finally end this pattern that you actually adopted for generation after generation after generation. When I tell you things pop up in the 3D reality so much quicker when you're fasting. God just wants to see in my belief, can you handle this? Do you still want what you want when it's inconvenient? Do you still want what you want when your unique wound is being touched? Your unique wound. I'm having people come out from my history. And the first couple of times it was fun. I told you, like a guy I used to talk to, another guy I used to talk to, a girl I had a disagreement with I saw at the grocery store, another girl that popped up. Like, oh, yeah, that's light work. I can handle that. I can handle that. Okay, you passed. You passed that with flying colors. Okay. Now here's something you weren't expecting. Whoa. Oh. Do you embrace it with the same openness and curiosity? Or because this is such a core wound for you, do you avoid it and just save it for later on the shelf? I thought you wanted to progress. I thought you wanted things to change. And for things to change, you have to change. It starts with you. Oh, you thought it was going to be predictable. Oh, you thought the circumstances that come here to grow you, that you have to face, that are so uncomfortable that you can't even conceive how you would be able to handle it. Oh, your logical mind, your cerebral functioning. How's that going? When you're trying to process emotion, when you're trying to process hurt, what's the formula for that? This is something you just have to sit in and feel. You remember how to do that, right? You're feeling? Now that you can't numb yourself with cocaine or food or relationships, it's just you and you, sweetheart. Can you sit in that discomfort of the unknown? Are you still energetically charged? It's really hard to still stay energetically charged when you're fasting because your body is so on just. I just picture my body just dusting some things, just cleaning things up. There's not chaos in your body anymore. We gotta digest this sugar. Let's get us some more fat. Let's get us some more carbs. Store this here. We'll deal with it later. We'll heal the ankle later. We'll heal the uterus later. We'll heal all this later. But we gotta keep this thing going. We gotta keep the parasites fed. We gotta keep the status quo. What? You know you're going to have to probably do things opposite that you're used to. You can't be in control there. How does that feel? Really, when you're a control freak, when you've really mapped things out, predicted things, come to your own conclusions on everything, your brain is going 100 miles per hour and you're being forced to halt and stop. Do you know how aggressive that is? Do you know how uncertain that is? But that's where there's nowhere else you're going to find growth. There's nowhere else you're going to find truth. You have to go to the door. The door has been presented to you. The options have been presented to you. How do you choose to receive it? Are you going to be offended? I have the possibility that was just presented to me to meet someone that was supposed to be a pivotal part of my life. I had somebody reach out to me on their behalf. How they found me, I have no idea. I still have my married name, last name. I don't know how they found me, but they did. They sent a message. How are you going to choose to proceed? Are you going to act like it's not there? Oh, 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 oh. That avoidance tendency. The opportunities get realer and realer, and I just didn't know. I'm like, oh, I thought that running into people I had disagreements with was. I was like, oh, this is probably level 3. Sweetheart, that's level 1. That's level 1. Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you for showing me what's supposed. Thank you. That's level 1. That's level 1, sweetheart. You want what you're asking for? You want to be trusted with more? You want to be able to show you can steward your time, your emotions, your money, your finances, yourself? Can you steward yourself? Well, here's an opportunity to do so. Can you steward your emotions and not think radically or not hold resentment? I even thought about calling my mom today. Randomly, it popped in my head. Like these little light voices. I'm starting to decipher them and catch them, actually catch them quicker. I'm like, oh, okay. Like with the pigeon, like with the 777, little things like that are coming up. It felt like I've been only talking for 5 minutes, but we're about to go on 38 minutes. So this has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk about today, but it was just on my heart. You are strong enough, you are smart enough, you are bold enough. Trust that you have everything you need, even if it's just coconut water and one friend you can just reflect to. Know that if it feels too grand right now, if you feel like your rubber band is about to pop from the stretching, you got to give it over to a higher source and have faith that your path will be illuminated. What you do next will be illuminated. The signs are undeniable. The intuition is coming back online. Would I have had liked all this to happen on day 30? Absolutely. But it's there's layers. You've built this up over decades, sweetheart. Your brain doesn't want to form new neural pathways, new ways of doing things. That screams energy, more energy consumption. And for the people who haven't had their tonsils the people who have had their tonsils and adenoids removed, you have so much inflation in your brain because your natural drainage pathways have been removed. Imagine how much inflammation you have in your brain. That's distorting your thinking. On top of other entities in there. I choose to move forward with a clear mind and an open heart and a backbone to know I can face anything this world is ready to show me. It's literally, divinely, evangelically, you and source, your creator. Okay? This ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Tap in. Tap in. And some days you're going to have to tap in harder. Some days them tap shoes, You getting down to the bone, you tapping so hard. But sometimes circumstances just like this is the only way you'll actually look up and be open to seeing a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things, a new way of functioning. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to carry over this topic for tomorrow. Today's topic was supposed to be about how to rewire your relationship with food, with comfort food, with your creatures of comfort, whatever your comfort is. Whatever your comfort is, we don't judge over here. We're open to learning. We're open to learning. We're open to experiencing the world through your eyes. Keep expanding, Lord God. Keep expanding my mind. Keep expanding my heart. Keep expanding what I think is possible, Lord. I know this is for the greater good. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, this is a catalyst for change. Yes, this cocoon feels so tight. Yes, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, what next week's going to bring, but that's where you can get playful. That's where you can get open. Like, you know what? I choose to believe. I choose to honestly believe everything is for my refinement. And when I do catch myself in those tendencies of taking it personal, why did they have to say it like that? Why didn't that opportunity work out? I'm like, oh my gosh, you're starting to see evidence now. So now your brain can't, it's not challenging you as much because now these inexplainable things are coming up. So now your brain's like, oh my gosh, we don't have to process this all by ourselves. We don't have to figure this all out by ourselves. Well, maybe we are more open to asking for help. Maybe we are more open to asking for directions. Maybe we are more open to asking people, can you get that door for me? Can you, Lord, show me, show me. Where is your will? Where is your will? Will these things to happen? I know this will work out. I know this is for my greater good. I know things will happen for me. And that is a beautiful place to be. You will fall in and out of it, but gosh, you're going to keep getting better. And people need to hear your authentic truth of how you came to be what you are. I love you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful night. I am done. I gotta go shower and finish this coconut water and do a little bit of writing and wrap it up from there. But thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for, I don't know if I'm talking to God or whoever on this other place, but I'm showing up for you and I'm showing up for me. It's not easy, babe. It's not always comfortable, but it is quite simple. Once you keep going, it gets more simple. The world needs what you're creating and what you're building. Your people need what you're creating, what you're building, and your mindset. And what a victory that I actually broke through to the 170s. The first time ever. These last 2 weeks, I've been dangling between 180. I'm like, okay, at first I was dropping weight like crazy, waist like crazy. But I tied it to that mindset of, oh yeah, every time I'm under like 178, I get way more attention. And with way more attention is way more opportunity to scrutinize, way more opportunity to portray, way more opportunity to get into a relationship that is not for you, for your highest good. I'm tying all these conclusions together before the thing actually happens. Thank you, Nia, for helping me come to that realization today too. I'm creating answers for people for questions I've never asked those people. All theory. Do you know how draining that is for your brain? All that processing you're doing and your brain hasn't had a full mind dump in like 20 years. A real mind dump. And God forbid if you don't go to sleep properly, which is the only time your brain can actually restart and reactivate yourself. You constantly have things playing. You're constantly going to sleep late. That is a catastrophic bomb for inefficiency. Anywho, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I love you so much. I'm going to end it right there because I hope this hits for whoever needs it. I love you so much. Have a good night.